Welcome to How Now, the podcast where we talk about how to live in the now. And here's your host, Kim Martin Raymond.
Peace and blessings, and welcome to this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. I am your host, Kim Martin Raymond. I'm a minister, spiritual life coach, health and nutrition awareness coach, author, and founder of Redefining You LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves mind, body, and spirit. And welcome to this edition of the How Now podcast. We are in season 3, and if this is your first time listening to the show, welcome to the How Now family. Make sure that you go to my website, www.hownowpodcast.com, choose your favorite podcast platform, and be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and share. You can also scroll to the bottom of the page and click on the banner, and it'll take you to the How Now YouTube channel, where you can like, follow, share, and subscribe there. And make sure you hit that notification button so you'll always know what's happening in the now. And that's www.hownowpodcast.com. So let's get into tonight's program. It is entitled Finding Time for Love. Now we're going into the month of love. And so we want to talk about, some of the challenges and some of the benefits of being in a position to find love. We have people who are making pivots in their lives right now. People have had opportunities to sit with themselves and to, discover some things about themselves. So it's a wonderful time to find love and to be in love and to talk about the different types of love. And to talk with me about that tonight is my lovely guest. So, as is customary with the How Now podcast, I'm going to have my guest to introduce herself at this time.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Kim, and thank you so much for having me on your podcast. My name is Alla Fine. I am love coach, dating and relationships for busy single professionals who have everything but true love. I'm also a matchmaker.
Yes, we love that matchmaker. All right. So, like I said, first of all, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us and to talk about this wonderful topic. Like you said, we're going into the month of February and people are talking about Valentine's Day. You go in the stores, you see all of these hearts and all of these other things. You have some people who celebrate it, some people who don't. But it's not just the timing of the year. It's a lot that's been going on, with the pandemic, first of all. And before we dive into the whole aspect of finding love in this busy time, talk to me a little bit about how things were going in your business prior to the pandemic.
That's a great question. Well, in pandemic, before the pandemic, I was actually working more on a fuller time with hospitality industry. And as we know, that industry was killed through the pandemic.
Right.
Literally. Right. I mean, my job began and ended like instantaneously.
Wow.
I worked as a director of catering and events for a very large nonprofit. I have a background in this area, in this industry, and I also had a part-time, my own event catering company on the side that I was also working with. So I had to reconfigure my life and I had to redefine myself as a personality, as a professional, as a woman, as a mother. I mean, there's all these pieces. And I was like depressed. I mean, we all went through this. I mean, we didn't know where we were heading. We didn't know what was tomorrow. We didn't know what this COVID thing even meant.
Right.
And there's so many strands of it. And we were like, all of a sudden, all this fear, the fear just came in, we've been bubbling in. And coaching component I've done over the years consistently. And that's always been my thing. People gravitate to me from different, walks of life.
Right.
And they just want advice. Just, what about this? What do you think of this? What do you think of that?
Right.
So that I never even actually looked at as work, because to me, that's pleasure. It's always been pleasure.
Right.
So I never really, like seen it more like professionally other than more personal, just helping people evolve as in relationships, as singles, in dating, etc. And all of a sudden I had to redefine myself, who I was.
Right.
So a lot of, fear, and the unknown played a big role.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I realized, well, after I had to forego hospitality, I decided maybe I should try. I realized there's this coaching, and it's a profession actually.
Right. Right.
And I had no idea it was actually a profession. So, okay, so I decided at the time that I'm going to be a career coach because I do have a background in that area.
Right.
I'm sure you probably don't even know this, but I started off as a career coach because I used to be executive recruiter
Oh,
for
okay.
multiple agencies. So I thought, this is pandemic, people need jobs. I'm going to help them transition and help them evolve and get best jobs, do, mock interviews, wardrobe, everything,
Right.
get them ready for be their best. And of course, a little mindset shift and all that other things.
Right.
And I started off as that. But then it was just like something was just weighing at me because this love and relationships that I've been doing all my life kept coming in full force. And I remember speaking to a business coach, and she said, "You know what?" I said, "I can't decide if I want to do love relationships or should I do career." And she's like, "Well, what are your passion is about? Where are your passion lies?" And I'm like, and then I guess apparently I kind of my energy just like went in like full force. And she said, when you spoke about love and relationship, you were like the bells went off, not like when you talk about career. So I said, well, I guess we made that choice. I mean, I made that choice now. This is it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
since that moment, I went full force, love and relationship, dating, and helping singles find love and how to keep it. That's the major piece here. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't get that. They say, oh, just introduce me to someone as a matchmaker. I get that all the time. But how ready are they? Are
Right.
they really ready? Many
Right.
times they're not ready. They also self-sabotage by not taking, like, say, coaching lessons, coaching sessions, so that they could implement who they are in their mind with the reality of what they're looking for.
Right.
So there's this piece that needs to be really dealt with. And a lot of people just don't want to do it. They just like want to go from A to Z
That's
with
right.
nothing in between
That's
and
right.
really self-sabotaging themselves.
Yeah.
Where coaching is really so helpful, people just to understand themselves better.
That's it. Well, I mean, it's wonderful, like you said, that you went through the process yourself of just saying, okay, let me decide what it is that I want to do. And I think it all begins with self. Starting with ourselves and saying, okay, am I in the space that I want to be in? Because just like you said, we want to go from A to Z. We want to jump right into a relationship, but have we really landed and decided where we want to be as an individual before we were talking about integrating someone else into our world,
Absolutely. Exactly. Self-love.
Yeah.
Self-love, self-care. Remember who we are as individuals. We could be in a thriving relationship without losing our individuality and progress of who we are. So people should not look at relationships as a way to get healed or a way to bring another person into your life to be happy. No, happiness begins within. The partner is your enhancer, it's your companion to do things you love, to do things together. That these things that you can easily do on your own, but you just want company. You want to create memories. That's what it's for.
Right.
Not
I love that you say that because that's what they are. They are an enhancer. They're coming in and they should be, taking you to a place where it's like the icing on the cake. You're the cake. You're the foundation. You're the nice, spongy, yummy part too. But having that little sprinkle on the top or having that little icing on the top, just makes it, gives it a little But it's not that if you don't have the icing, then you don't have the cake. You still have the cake. So
you
I
want
love
that special sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, it starts there. So like I said, I love that you talk about, and it's actually a blessing that you decided to follow your passion for doing something that you want to do. And I mean, and that's an important part too in the process of discovering love, because if you can be honest with yourself and be honest with the things that you're seeking to do in your own personal life, and saying, okay, well, where am I? And what is it that I'm doing? You know, then I can start talking about, again, bringing someone else in. So when a person comes to you, or when they've come to you, you were saying initially they came in as just find me somebody, be a matchmaker, just find me somebody. Where do you start people at?
Okay, so when people come to me, it's not necessarily, I mean, this is, so I have kind of two-part business, you could say. Love coaching,
Mm-hmm.
helping people with dating and relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and also matchmaking, which is a separate piece completely. So I try to engage my number one thing is coaching, because I want to see people happy. I want them to transition through life with happiness within, with self-assurance, with confidence, you know, breaking all the boundaries they have in terms of insecurities. I want to bring the boundaries that are uplifting, motivating, and inspiring. So I do all this inner work, I call it. And once we work within ourselves, then we can progress. So so during my yesteryears, I was giving lots of different advice about how to, in marriages and dating, friends, family, people. I mean, I've done so many matches, crazy. I mean, that was just like out of love,
Right.
like years ago. Now, as this is a business, since pandemic, I am basically, when my clients come to me, they just tired of being single for the
Yeah.
most part. That's what it's not about being lonely per se, because if
Mm.
they're happy inside, they're not lonely because they have other activities what people can do, and but they are alone. So that's two different things.
Right.
So if you're alone, at the end of the day, you want to come home after work and you want to see a body greeting you, and you want to say, "Hey, how you doing? I missed you." Hug,
Right.
hug, kiss, kiss.
Yeah.
This is
Talk about your
important.
day. Right.
You want, how's your day? How, like dinners, like, hey, you want to grab something out? You want some kind of a, companionship. And this
Right.
is what the lacking piece is. So when people come to me about dating, they're like, I'm tired of being single. I'm not attracting the right people. I am missing out, I don't know, on what or my biological clock is ticking, or males will say, because I serve both, uh,
Yes.
or men say, well, I'm getting ghosted all the time. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Or somebody would say, I'm now in a relationship and I don't want to screw it up. So
Right.
tell me what to do exactly, because I can't mess it up. It looks like she may be the one.
Right.
So it's like different
Right.
variations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And I
it's,
mean, I was going to
it's
say that's probably it's interesting because people are coming in on different levels. And just like you said, you can, I definitely understand that concept of alone versus lonely, because that is something that is, you could be in a room full of people and still feel alone, still feel that feeling of alienation. You just don't feel like you're connecting.
yeah,
And
lonely, like
I think that
inside, like,
yeah,
you could be like, I hate to say this, but there are, well, I don't want to say many, but there are a good fair share amount of marriages that people feel lonely inside and alone,
yeah,
even though in the union as marriage. So I also assist in that respect with couples who are going through changes or stopped believing in each other, or so I basically help them with fighting, understanding each other, bringing them together in the union, and reminding them why they said I do to begin with.
that's right. I love that. I love that because you said there are different aspects of relationships. Now, do you touch on? I know we talk about dating and we talk about marriage and things like that. Now, do you talk with them also about how their relationships are just in general, like friendships and things like that? Because sometimes friendships can develop into more. So, do you
Absolutely.
touch on?
I actually, on LinkedIn, my platform that I work on, I
Mhm.
constantly post things about like giving people inspiration to look around them. People
Yeah.
come to me and say, "Oh, like, where is this my number one? Where's my true love? Where's my soulmate?" A lot of times people don't realize, but they are in their immediate proximity.
Mm,
So I always refer them to take a look in your close circles. Do you have a friend? Well, try to look at your friend, maybe. I'm not saying yes or no, but just
right.
open-minded, because statistics has shown that more and more relationships are much more solid and stable if they begin with friendship.
Yeah.
Case in point.
Okay.
Okay, case in point. I'm telling you, it's like a whole different animal.
Yeah.
If you can have a true friendship before you begin a loving relationship, romantic relationship, you could, like, maybe you can meet at work, or you can do some industry event, networking, whatever you do, you become, colleagues, friends, and you can just develop that piece, that foundation.
Yeah.
That's your strengthening. That's your strong above anything else. Because if obviously marriage, relationships, partnerships, through the time, it will be ups and down. Nobody's
Right.
perfect.
Right.
But if you have the foundation, you're solid. You're
That's
solid
it.
because you like each other. To like each other first before you love each other is
Right.
epic.
Right. And that's huge. I love that you said that. I'm going to say it again. She said that, you should like the person that you're with before you love
You
them.
love them. You
Okay.
must
And
like
that's
the
huge.
person.
You must
Yes.
like the person first. And that is huge because, I think there's a level of comfort when you meet
Yeah.
somebody and you're comfortable with that person and
Yes.
you like them and you can have a conversation with them and it's not so strained or you don't have that pressure looming over you that it has to be more than this. You
Right.
know, we,
You're aligned. Okay. You already know because you're aligned. You have this energy. You have this equal exchange of energy, the vibration. You already know what plateau you're in. There are no masks. Okay. There are no masks. You're like Bear because it's your friend.
yeah,
You could chill. You can, do fun things with, be playful, be funny. It's okay because it's different. It's not be categorized as dating and where you have to be, oh my God, can I say that? Can I eat? Do I have to eat salad? No, you
right,
eat steak
right.
and enjoy it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I love that because it does start like that. And I think we put so much pressure, and I think society puts a lot of pressure
Yes.
on us. Of course, you have some families, they always tease and say the moms or the grandmother, and well, when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have grandchildren? I mean, you talk
Exactly.
about going from
Pressure.
A to Z. People the pressures out there, or when people just say, "Oh, so you're single? Oh, you're not seeing anyone?" They say it as though it's a
I know.
crime.
It's so frustrating for others. I know. People are
And so
just
I'm sure
frustrated.
that's what I mean. I know when people say I'm sick and tired of being by myself because also I'm sure they're tired of the pressures of constantly
Of
being asked,
course.
oh, are you seeing someone? Oh, are you dating? Oh, you're not married? Oh, you're 40? What? Lot. That's a
Yep,
lot. It's a
exactly.
lot of societal
Exactly.
pressure and
Yeah.
and social media and things that are always glamorizing, relationships. And so, people feel that push. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that, that's where it starts too, huh?
That's what it starts. I would really, I always kind of promote, people don't like to hear it, but
Hmm.
honestly, I promote the blind dating. I think blind dating would be ideal because then people get to know each other for themselves, not the facade, and not just,
Yes,
no picture exchanges. I know about chemistry and I'm all about chemistry and it's important to have that.
yes,
But chemistry with personality is
yes,
so critical because
yes,
you can have the visual, but if you don't have this mental, emotional, all these other components, then it's really, really tough.
right.
While if you develop internally, if you can develop this personality, guess what? Many times over, even if the person may not be the man or the woman of your dreams,
Yes,
that becomes secondary. It's not as important. I promise you that.
right,
If you
right.
give yourself a chance.
Wow. See, that's huge. That's huge. It is about personality, like you're saying. It's not just, a matter of you don't think about blind dating or you hear about blind dating, you say, oh, I don't know. But there's some excitement in that too, being able to, the unknown. So it's like, okay, and just
Not
going out.
interested in this at all. At all. It's
Because what
me
happens is
being romantic.
yeah, because what happens, I think we tend to, you look at the picture of the person and you make a judgment call and you say, okay, well, I'm going to dress because he looks like, he might be a sharp dresser, so I have to dress this way and that way. But if it's a blind date and you have no idea, you have to go with you.
Exactly.
Think,
That's
okay,
it. That's
what
it.
I want to wear, not what I'm going to wear based on what that person looks like. You're going to be like, I'm going to wear what I feel comfortable in or what I do. And then, it
But you
really
know,
forces you to
yeah,
be.
you have to be yourself no matter what. I mean, you come in being you because two reasons. One, you want to be true to yourself. You don't want to introduce yourself as someone else because at the end of the day, let's say if this relationship goes further and you get to start to date, then that person will be expecting that person who he met, not necessarily you, whoever you decided to be that moment. So you will have to keep that facade going until you get tired, and then they'll get to know the real you. They may not like it, or maybe may like it. You don't know.
Right.
So this is like not a good way, not a healthy or truthful way to begin.
Mhm.
And always and never be apologetic. Be who you are. Be authentic. Do what feels right for you. And if this person doesn't get it, then this is not your person. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when we talk about things like that, okay, so say you're looking at possibly meeting someone and that person feels as though they're ready. Do you is there like a time frame? I know you like blind dating. Is there a time frame that you think people should kind of date, or some people it's a love at first sight. Some people get married a month or a year or a week after they meet. What do you think about that?
It's really individual because love at first sight, I do believe in it. Um, However, it's so rare. It's really, really rare. Um, I've known people, some of my former clients, and I have to say, like significantly older clients, have mentioned that they were only twice in love and both love at first sight.
Wow.
Twice, one of which they married one of that love of their side. So I mean, it does happen,
Yes.
and it's for good and it's forever. I mean, because they did get married to that person, and once was they were really really young, and then the other one was like later in life for keeps. So it does, but you can't really put time on it because
Right.
if you are in a dating mode, you have to go through dating. Dating, people don't get a lot of times that dating is not necessarily problematic. Dating could be fun, but people
Right.
fear dating because there are so many different pieces. Why? This is actually one of the pieces on my website that I'm gonna later give you a link to that you can
Okay.
download and find out why people fear dating.
Right.
But thing is that when people approach dating, they want to like get to that Z, from A.
Yes.
But
Yes.
they don't realize because dating should be fun, number one. Two, dating is really opportunity to get to know this potential someone that you want to build a life with, or
Right.
be in a casual situation with, or whatever the case may be. But this is an opportunity to really get to know that person. And this is dating. Dating is just like figure it out. Is this person for me? Are we aligned personally? Do we have lifestyles that are aligned? Are our families' morals and values? Are we aligned? How do we know? We know through dating. We know by seeing the person, going out with the person, how they think, what they say. This is it. That's all dating is, really. And then when you decide that you want to get further, then maybe you develop your relationship and make it like exclusive, and then you really really get to know each other, and obviously affection, emotion, and all of that beautiful thing, they come in, and then you just get to know people as individuals within the couple. People within the couple have to be authentic to themselves
Right.
and to one another in order for the relationship to continue to prosper and flow, with the energy that had begun. And of course, then develop. Nothing is perfect. So you develop. I mean, there will be obstacles, there will be challenges. This is where I come in to smooth things over. But of course, everybody could do this on their own. But it's easier with, you can't see it. You're just going to see a lot of blame, pointing fingers. Oh, he did this, she did that. Well, I didn't mean this, I didn't mean that. Communication is a big piece. And of course, not always seen, it's not a line between, women from Venus, men from Mars.
That's right.
I mean, that's a fact.
Right. I mean, I love what you said, because communication is a big piece of that. Because like you said, if one person is thinking that they're dating and the other person is looking for that exclusivity, I think it's important that people are clear on where are we going, and let's make sure that we're both walking down the same path, not walking on the same path, but one is walking in one direction, the other one is walking in the other direction. We're on the same path, but we're not walking the same way. So it's like, wait a minute, I think it is important, like you said, that communication piece, so that way, we're clear, we're dating. And then that you said that, when you get to that next step, then we can talk about being exclusive. So it's a conversation that takes place, not just an assumption.
Right.
I think that's where, problems begin to formulate, because there's always someone making the assumption that one thing is the way it was, and it's not.
Right. Exactly, Kim. Yes.
Yeah, those things are important. So, like you said, we take them through the process of being able to first discover who they are, as an individual, and I think that's a huge component too. Where am I at? Am I in a space where I'm ready to receive a relationship? Because you may say that you're ready for a relationship, but if you're set in your ways, you may, even though you don't want to be lonely. Okay, so the question, I guess, becomes, are you lonely for that type of companionship, or are you looking for a dog or a pet? Because sometimes people are set in their ways, and even though they said they want a companion, as soon as that person comes in, they're like, well, no, I do this, and this is what I do, and this is my normal routine. And they don't want to break routine or
that's called compromise, and not so many people are interested. Again, interested enough, but for the right union, they will compromise because they're equally invested. And so this is the key through dating piece. People get to a point where they decide, okay, is this person for me? Could this be my future soulmate? Is this a partner that has all these things that actually mirror me? I mean, is this important for me to be like mirroring, like this give and take? Is this person able to compromise? Is this person wishing to have a family? No, they would just want a furry friends. Okay, different kind of family. So look, all these pieces that you discussed, and typically they discussed, but a lot of times it's like a tug and a pull, and then like the synergy is not exactly aligned, and little people kind of fight. But again, it's the growing pains of being in a new relationship. So before throwing a towel and saying, "Oh, forget it, I can't do this," the grass is not greener on the other side. People may think that, but it's not the case. So if you have anything, any kind of an inkling internally, affection, love, foundation of your relationship, it's worth, working on it, getting professional, help, getting people involved to help you help yourself, investing in yourself, in your future, and into your relationship. So you can live forever, happily ever after together.
Yes. I mean, that's awesome. Now, are there like little exercises that you do with your clients where they kind of are listing some of the things that they're looking for? Because sometimes, people have ideas of, oh, he's got to be, tall, he's got to be, muscular, he's got to do this, that, and the third. And I think that a lot of us miss out on that Mr. or Mrs. Right, because we put so many check boxes next to what we think that we want, and it may not necessarily be in that package.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not being realistic, and again, self-sabotaging for themselves for opportunities. that are melee ahead, and they just don't see it. I know a lot of people who would not date someone that would be under a certain height or a certain, body types or whatever. Look, again, I get it. It's also about chemistry and about what their preference are. But
Right.
if you think about it, doesn't really matter if somebody is 6'3" or 6 feet. Who cares?
Right.
It's more important what's here and
Right.
what's here.
Right. In your
And
mind,
that's really
in your
what it's
heart.
about.
Right. Right. I think that's important because I mean, my husband, I love him to pieces. My husband is 3 inches shorter than I am, and I mean, if I said, oh well, I'm 5'9", or if I said, well, he has to be 6 feet, I may have missed out on the love of my life because he's everything, but I can't say, well, just because he's not tall enough, then that's where I draw the line. Now, I mean, I definitely believe in having some parameters. You want to have some things, that are definitely a no for you. Like there are some people who may say, if that person is a smoker or a drinker or something like that, that's not something that I'm interested in because it may be a trigger for them. So I guess it's important for them to realize those things too. Just like we make a list of things that we want, is it also important for us to make a list of those things that we don't want or that are deal breakers?
Non-negotiables. Exactly.
That's the
Non-negotiables. It's important because there's some things are non-negotiable. People will not date people who are smokers. I mean, this day and age, honestly, this is a
right,
big thing. Big
right,
thing. Nobody really wants to deal with smokers at all. I mean, even the vaping, whatever,
right, or
even
e-cigarettes or things like
vaping,
that.
which is
Right,
even low key, but still, they really truly don't want any part of that. Smoking, it's not good for you. Quit.
right,
Pick up another exercise or do something else, activity. Go dancing. I do that to
right.
take the edge off.
That's it. That's it. So I think it's important to do those things too. So again, like you said, it starts from within. It starts with, really being decisive about what you do. And I guess that kind of like falls in line with when I think about you talking about your career, when you were helping with the career coaching, you're trying to debate on, what is something that I do well? What is something that is of interest to me? And something that I know that I can excel in. And I guess you use that same type of thought process when you're thinking about relationship. What do I bring to the relationship? Because
Yes,
relationships are not just it's not just me. It's me and that individual and how we work together.
exactly. A lot of times also, I want to point this out. You could be in a relationship and everything seems okay on the surface, but all of a sudden you start feeling something is off. Trust your gut because if
Mm,
it's off, it usually is. So start like thinking through this, figure out what is it that's missing. What is it? What is it to change? Is it his body language or her body language? It is lack of communication, or is it lack of commitment, or more like work for the relationship? A lot of times also I find that couples, one side becomes comfy
mhm.
and really does not invest anymore into the
Right,
relationship, and it's sluggish for the one who puts in everything in,
right,
consistently inputting all the energy into making the relationship work, making it fun for the other one. The other one just sits on the side, and just absorbs. So you
right.
don't want to be in a relationship that's like one-sided, because that's what
Mhm.
it is. It's gonna really hit you, unfortunately, a ton of bricks down the road, because you're
Right.
gonna feel resentful. Why are you investing all your energy into a relationship that's really, it takes two to tango?
That's right.
So you need to be mindful. Otherwise, it becomes, guess what? It's called toxic relationship. Even
Absolutely.
though it may not look on surface, and maybe it's not like obviously abuse or anything like heavy duty, but it
Right.
could be just as toxic, because if somebody, I call it like, wash their hands off and really stays on the sidelines and really
Right.
doesn't want to do anything, like
Right.
lazy, basically lazy love. That's what I call it,
Right.
lazy love. They will be there for you, but they will not be um, available to you on
Right.
100% of the time. They would look for you to inspire them, motivate them, energize them. And when it comes to, let's say, a date, or whatever you want,
Right.
but you want somebody to take, like,
Charge sometimes.
yeah, well, okay, that's nice for you to share and let me be the leader in the relationship. But sometimes we don't want to be the leader. We want to bring our feminine energy and being our, lovey-dovey, cozy and fuzzy. And
Right.
we're not allowed to do that because we're always going to be on
Right.
and taking the leadership role, while the male is going to be sitting there in the sidelines and just gonna just take.
Absorb it all.
That's not
Absorb.
this is very important to look for the red flags in that kind of relationship.
Absolutely. I was going to say that red flags all day long. They fly high. And sometimes we sit there and we say, oh, well, no, I didn't realize. Yeah, you saw it. But you just, in your desire to want to be in a relationship, to say you're in a relationship, you just go and you let those things slide. I love that you say lazy love. I love that term.
I don't know if I created it in my. I have actually. I just recently wrote a blog on it. I didn't post it on my website yet, but it's about lazy love because I mean I had to like say something because it was really like getting at me because one of somebody that I recently coached, it came in conversation and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is totally lazy love.
Yeah.
This is like clearly. I
Yeah.
mean, the
And
person
I
is
think we see a
not
whole
interested
lot of.
in taking full responsibility for their action and for the relationship, no investment of time. So the only way the relationship would be really excelling and blossoming if both partners give not 50%, 100%,
That's right.
100% of themselves, not 20/70, 20/80, 30/70. No, it has to be 100. You want a full partnership. You want a real deal. You want a partnership within a relationship. That's what you want. That's
Right.
the ideal. If
Right.
it's a relationship that's missing this, missing this, missing this, communicate, find what the problem is, fix it, move on. If it does not align with who you are, or maybe you outgrew each other, no need to suffer.
Right.
If you tried everything, only if you did try everything,
Right.
then you should, consider parting ways if it's
Right.
mutual.
Right.
But you can't be in a relationship where it's going to be strengthening. Instead of strengthening, it will be pulling you down.
Right.
Because
Right.
it's your own life. I mean, you want to be with someone who's going to be equally excited about planning the date or going somewhere. This is going to be, that gives you energy. That gives us energy because we are, it's a taken, give and take.
Right. We are energetic people. Just like you said, we're energetic people. We get our energy and we feed off of one another and our relationships and how we connect with one another. And I think that, when you talk about that lazy love, I think we've seen a lot of that where you have couples who have been married for 25 plus years and then all of a sudden they're divorcing because someone has always, been
pulled in more than the
they've
other.
done all and been all and helped that person to strive and succeed. And it has sucked the life out of them. And they finally gotten to a point where they say, you know what, no more.
Exactly.
I've given you everything and you have not reciprocated.
Right.
Any of
take
that.
It for granted. Completely take it for
energy.
granted.
Right. And so just like you said, I think it's important that we identify that early on in the relationship and not wait 20, 30 years down the line and then have to figure out how to start all over again after you've made a life with that person. Because, when you establish that relationship and then all of a sudden it has to end, you're less inclined to depart from that person because you've been with them so long. You're just like, I'll just stay. And that's the worst thing.
That is the worst thing. Yeah. Don't settle. It's very important not to settle because love is timeless, has no boundaries. You can fall in love at any age. It does not matter. I once, actually, many years ago, I did a little matchmaking there, and I got my grandmother together with grandfather of my friend. I kind of saw that this would be a good union, and I just planned the whole thing. I schlepped her over to their house, just said some bogus nonsense, whatever. Created something why I had to go see my friend, even though she was not home. And I brought my grandma along. My grandma was already in her 80s. Okay.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
She was in her early 80s, and this man was, I think, like mid or late 80s, and they were together for 10 years.
Wow.
Is that
Wow.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this like if I see it, I usually am very good at once I get to know people a little bit, I know I
Yes.
could I just call it. I just call it, and it's from one time. They
That is
meet and that's it.
awesome.
And that's
That's
it.
awesome. So I like that. I like that you say that, there is a difference between, like you said, coaching and matchmaking. So talk to us a little bit
Yes.
about that. A little bit about the difference. Matchmaking is more instinctual.
Matchmaking is for people who are busy, who are tired of swiping through these profiles, endless profiles. Look, there's art in dating in terms of I teach that. Like basically, you want to be in the dating world where you are in the front row seat, you're the driver, you know what you want, where you're going, how you're getting there. So
Right.
all these mechanics are critical in creating a profile, for instance. Your profile is your resume. What you
Right.
put in it is reflection of how they see you.
Right.
And that is very important piece. A lot of people, again, don't get that piece, but you need to do this in the right way so you can align yourself to attract the kind of people you wish. So
Right.
I create, I help with the creation of these profiles or I tweak them for them. Thing is that once they get to that piece, they can then go ahead and do this on their own. Because if that's all they want, and then of course go back to coaching and whatnot. There are also people who don't want that anymore. They've been there, done that. They don't want to do this anymore. They don't want to do swiping. They don't care.
Right.
They checked out. And also because they're busy. They're
Yeah.
busy entrepreneurs, executives, they're busy building their empires. They have no time for this.
Right.
So it's like my white glove store service. Either I get them on the apps and
Hmm.
we'll start that way, which is much more economical
Right.
to do this. I do the legwork for them. Basically,
Right.
I create the profile. I get the word based on their criteria.
Right.
I figure out who they want and how they want it, and then I set up the dates. I'm an event planner,
That's
and
right.
then and they just meet up. They meet up somewhere fun, somewhere depending what they want or romantic, and then they go on there, go from there. And of course, there are also those people who just have just the tall order, as you said, and not always being realistic, and they want to have these inflated, uh, ideas who they
Right.
should be with.
Right.
And that's always a struggle. And yet I do find them someone that, but it's difficult because they're
Yeah.
just not being realistic. So a lot of times we just need to have this heart to heart
Yes.
to figure it out where they want to be in the long run, because you have to be realistic of
Right.
what you bring to the table versus what you
Right.
want to the table. It
Right.
has to be
Absolutely.
aligned. It can't
Absolutely.
be. You, I have people. I mean, I'm a online coach, so I have global clients as well, all over the country, all over the world. And some of them say to me, "Well, do you have somebody for me in your country?" I said, "No, your somebody is in your country."
Right. 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 And like you
Because
said, the
it's
back and
not
forth.
about,
Yeah.
you're not going to find, listen, a lot of, who's to say that somebody in my country wants to go to that country?
Right.
They don't just don't see these things and how
Right.
critical it is to see. So in your country, I'm sure there are a gazillion people who want
Right.
to be part of relationship, who want to have the companionship, no matter what age they are. They just want to be, a little relationship, a little fun friendship or
Right.
something, and do
Right.
things together. Go, you know,
Right.
go having a afternoon tea, or go for a hike, or just
Right.
go to the gym together, or just
Right.
go take a trip. We can get away. They just want some kind of someone in their lives,
Right.
and that's what it should
Yes.
be, because love is love. It has no boundaries. It's
Yeah.
timeless, and people who want it should have it. I'm a true believer in love, and I'm a hopeless romantic myself, and
Sounds
I
like that.
really believe that people who are really aligned in their minds and willing to do the work, they can find the
Yeah.
love they want. It's
Yeah.
just no exception. really can find, as long as they're willing, they're coachable, they understand, they're willing to learn. Because I'm a mentor, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach. I need to be able to speak freely. I don't sugarcoat anything. I just say
Right.
how it is. That's it.
That's
This is
it.
where the buck stops here. This is it. This is what
Right.
you want. And I promise you that you'll get there. But you have to, I find, I keep them accountable. They do little exercises, how to, about for themselves in terms of what they want out of life. And, need to put it in paper. Journaling is important.
Absolutely.
And just putting those words in the universe of what they want and
That's
manifesting.
it.
Also
That's
beautiful.
it.
Yes.
I
So,
absolutely love that, because that's what it is. It's about being honest with
yeah.
yourself, because just like you said, there are certain people who will fill out those profiles and put the information on it, and they're not always 100% honest. But it was like, how do you expect to find someone or to find true love if you're not being honest in your profile or about the things that you really want? So I think it's important, like you said, that we research within first and make sure that we're clear on exactly what it is that we want. And when we don't do that, then we're setting ourselves up, like you said, self-sabotage all day long. It goes back to self-love. If we're not showing self-love, then we are self-sabotaging. So everything starts within. It starts with us.
Exactly. It all boils down to the same.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I absolutely just, I think like I said, we can sit here and talk about this all day. We talk about love all day, and the dynamics of love. But just to recap, it's important again that we search ourselves first, that we're honest with ourselves, that we, journal and write about those things that are important to us, or what it is that we're seeking in a relationship. And that, we more importantly ask for help, because we can't, obviously there are some things that we can't do on our own. But if we're asking for help, we have to be honest with the person we're asking that help from, to make sure that we're getting the desired result that we want.
Yeah.
Or at least having a conversation, because we may not know every aspect of relationships. So that's where you come in and can ask the tough questions that they may not have said.
Exactly. And also a lot of times people come from already toxic relationships and bring the baggage into the current relationship, and then they expect that to work. No, we need to, I heal all that first and mesh it all and leave past in the past. This is why it's called past. We'll leave it in the past.
Right.
We don't bring it to the present, and we certainly not bring it into the future. So many times over, people say, "Oh, I can do this myself. I don't need a coach." Fantastic. I'm more power to you.
Right.
But think about it. I really would hate for you to be in the same place next year or 5 years from now, kicking yourself for not investing then. Because now you're 5 years older, you're still in the same place, still unfulfilled, still uninspired with your life or whatever. Because relationships, it's not only about romantic relationships. Once you feel whole inside, feel complete inside, you are a dynamo in business, in career, in family relationship, with your children, with your parents, your greater family, your community. It all is really within. Once that mind shifts, that's when you could see major changes. So it really applies for the inner being before even relationships and dating. So it all begins here, but it's very important to invest in yourself. People say, "Oh, like, I don't want to, I can do this on my own. I don't need anybody." Fantastic. I'm like all for you. Go for it.
That's
And people also say, again, not to knock therapists, and I'm all for therapies. They do different work than we do. Therapies more dealing with the past, so much. But they don't. Some people say, "Well, I already take therapy. I don't know if I need coaching." I said, "Well, I doubt that your therapist will discuss your love and relationships and dating and how to do a profile, or the art of seduction, or the art of romance, or give you all these other skills that I teach." Okay, I doubt it, but go ahead.
Right. Try if you want to. Yeah. So I guess when we talk about when is the right time, or when we talk about finding time for love,
Love, passion, intimacy. I mean, know any therapists who discuss these things. That's just
Right.
something I discussed in, when I'm trying to bring people together. Intimacy, people live together and they just like maybe, it's not the same the over 20 years, maybe, high lows, whatever happens. But they can bring it all back. It doesn't mean that if just because there's a little lull, if there's as long as the both partners are equally invested in the change, they have to be committed to the change. It has to be together. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Right. And like you said, there has to be that communication is paramount. It
Yeah.
has to be about communication. Are we, like I said, are we going to hold hands and walk down this path together? Or are we going to walk past each other and then turn around and look and say, hey, I thought you were coming this way. No, I thought you were coming this way. And we're heading in opposite directions on the same street. We want to be able to walk together. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a matter of having that time to just communicate. And like I said, that time is now. That time is the present. Why not? You've been looking or you've been waiting. Okay, you have to put your hand to the plow and do the work. Like you said, we have to do the work. We have to be willing to do the work and not just expect somebody to come and do it for us. Even though you assist in the process, it still requires them to be a part of that process because it's not you who's going in the relationship as their coach, it's them. And when you step away and they have to continue to walk on, you don't want things to start falling apart because everything was contingent on.
I don't fix that. I work in a partnership with them, with everybody in the partnership. It's a partnership that we see to fruition based on their criteria, where they want to be, where they want to be in 5 years, where they want to be in 3 months. It's all depends on what the client wants. I just guide and illuminate the path to
That's it.
love and success.
I love that. I love that. All right. And I think that is wonderful that you took the steps to do that and that you made that pivot. We say that, the pandemic had caused all types of challenges, but some of the pivots that we have had to make have been for the good. And so it is a blessing that you are doing this and that you made that pivot into this so that people have an opportunity to experience love and to have that coaching and to have that support that they need. So kudos to you for establishing this service and making it global for those who are seeking to find love. So let me first say thank you so much for being here with us and for talking about the importance of some of these things that we have to do that are foundational, that are going to get us to that space of love that we want to be in. Now, what I'm going to do is ask you, like I ask all of my guests, first I'll ask you how you are living in this now, because it's important to see how others are coping in this space that we still continue to be in. And then I'll ask you to tell people how they can get in contact with you.
Okay. Well, in the now is being authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
This is number one priority, that you always have to make space for yourself, whether you're single or you're in a couple, it does not matter. Always give yourself enough time in your busy schedule to do something special for yourself, at least once a week. I call it me time.
Yes.
Me time is critical. I choose to do that on Sundays. I go to, like, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You go for a walk in the nature. You go walk your dog, but different, not your usual path. Go
Right.
really in the nature, really, breathe in
Right.
and look at your surroundings, because we a lot of times don't even realize how blessed we are with just Mother Nature and
Right.
how simple pleasures give us pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, go to the beach. It doesn't matter what season it is, as long as it's not blizzard.
Right.
Go to the beach. It's just to see those waves crash. It's
Yeah.
empowering.
Yes, it is.
And just like you get like, it's a spiritual moment with yourself and the water and just, if it's even crisp, cold air, and it just kind of re-energizes you. It's really, really good way to spend time with yourself. Doesn't have to be long, but it has to be minimal, like a half hour at least. Ideally, an hour, whether you meditate, whether you want to go dancing, it doesn't matter. It has to be your time. Or spa moments. You don't have to go to a physical spa. You can create a spa at home. Whip up some good stuff and Put your facial on, or if you go take a bubble bath. I know, but guys don't really like to admit to it, but they do that.
Yes.
Yes, so it's very it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's a great way to energize, re-energize, rebalance yourself as you move forward into the week. That's why I like to do it on Sundays. So
Yes.
I'm like recharged,
That's
ready
the
for my
tone
new
for the
week.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Okay. And so now tell people how they can get in contact with you if they're interested in your services, if they're interested in finding love in the now.
Okay. Well, I say this, especially now. We're in January 2023. New year, new you.
Right.
This is an opportunity to get yourself where you want to be in this year. This is the time that you really have to assess who you want to be, who you are today, where you want to go, who you want to go with. And if any of these things you're like not certain or how to or need tips or whatever, you can contact me at allafinecoaching.com, which is ALLA Fine, Fine, coaching, COACHING.com. And there are ways to contact me directly. You can check out my website, see what I do. And they have two pieces. One is the coaching, and you get a free session. You can apply for a free session, complimentary, to do a coaching with me. And I can give you ideas where you're going, where you want to be. I can help you navigate better. Or there's another component, there's a matchmaking button, and you can press that. You can enter yourself into my database and matchmaking. That's completely free. And then if there is a match, then I would be in touch. But you can enter yourself for free, absolutely, into the database, because you never know. Once you fill up your criteria, you never know. There may be somebody waiting in the,
Awesome.
the lines.
Awesome. Okay. So again, that is www.allafinecoaching.com. ALLAFINE coaching.com. And she said there's a coaching button and a matchmaking button, and you're able to put in a free profile or sign up for a coaching session with Alla. So Alla, thank you so much for being with us again and for taking time out of your schedule to talk about this wonderful, timely topic, because it's always time for love.
Always time for love.
Is there any other final words that you have for our listeners before we go?
Love is in the air. Valentine's is around the corner. If you want to spend with someone special, start now. It is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Get yourself closer, push that needle, get out of that comfort zone, and get closer to your love so that you have many more years together as a couple, as opposed to two individual people waiting to find one another.
I love that. I love that. And thanks again. And now you are officially a part of the How Now family. So welcome in. You're always welcome back. Always tell my guests, we never know what's happening down the road. We never know what's happening tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. So you're always welcome to come back and share with us the things that are happening in your now. So again, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, and that will do it for this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. And until I see you the next time, I say peace.